Hey folks, welcome to Hey Big Grilling. Now tonight we're gonna stay here in the kitchen. We're gonna make some steak stuffed baked potatoes. My buddy tagged me in this video on Instagram. They looked way too good not to try, so we're gonna give it a whirl. These steak bites, I'm gonna use these sirloin tender steaks. Really for the price and for what we're doing with them, I like using these for my steak tacos, fajitas, anything where I'm using strips or chunks of steak. I can't see myself spending the money on a ribeye or a T-bone or anything of that nature. So these work perfect. Before we get started on the steak, we're gonna start in on our potatoes. Now I got 4 russet potatoes here. I'm gonna take them over to the sink, wash them off, take a paper towel and pat them dry. First thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take me a fork here and go around each of the potatoes. Just kind of give it a little stabbing. Now that we got our holes poked all in them, we're gonna come back with some olive oil. I'm gonna pour me just a little bit onto each potato. And then I just kind of want to rub that olive oil. You could use butter, vegetable oil, olive oil, avocado oil, whichever one you wanted to use. But we're just gonna rub that onto our potatoes. I got the olive oil on them. We're gonna come back with some salt. Now I'm using the old sea salt. You can use whatever salt, regular old table salt, whatever. I'm gonna come over the top of that with a little bit of pepper. This next part's up to you. We're gonna take that potato and I'm gonna wrap it in aluminum foil. And like I said, that's completely up to you. If you want it, the skin to be a little crispier, you don't have to wrap it at all. But we're gonna wrap it with some aluminum foil here. And to be real honest with you, you can get the same results if you just wanted to cook your potatoes in the microwave versus in the oven. We're gonna bake these in the oven at 425 degrees for 45 to 60 minutes. We'll start checking them about the 45-minute mark, seeing if they're fork tender. Or we got these little steaks here laid out. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take me some parchment paper, lay over the top, and I'm gonna come back with my tenderizer. And we're not trying to tenderize them because these are already pretty tender, but I wanna get them all about the same thickness, so that way they'll cook about the same amount of time. Just kind of hammer it down. We got these hammered out. They're all pretty close, about the same level, or same thickness rather. So we're gonna do just like we do in the past when I've used these. We're gonna cut them into strips, just like so. And then we're gonna cut them into bite-sized pieces. Got it cut. That looks pretty good. So we're gonna cut it about like that. Now our potatoes are cooking, but we're gonna go ahead and get started cooking our steak. We're gonna scrape them off into a skillet. You can season these with whatever seasoning you want. If you want to go with a Cajun seasoning, but I'm gonna go back with the old Granny Moore's Gangsteer. For me, it's just got a perfect blend when it comes to beef, especially steak or burgers. Next, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of olive oil into the skillet. We're gonna set our burner to a medium to medium high heat. I kinda like going with that medium heat myself, but we're gonna let this come up to temperature. Steak, our skillet's giving us that good sizzle action sound, right? So I wanna leave it undisturbed for about 2 minutes. So I'm just gonna let it continue to cook. They've been going for about 2 minutes, so we're just gonna put these all over and let them go for about another minute. All right, so that's been about a minute longer. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna push all my steak over to one side here. Get that up, pushed over. Next, I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of butter, 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of work this around and saute this here for about a minute or until it becomes fragrant. Our butter, garlic butter is nice and sauteed. We're gonna toss our steak back into this garlic butter sauce. Just kind of stir it around. We're gonna let this cook for an additional minute. Now that that's cooked for another minute, we're gonna remove that steak. And I got a little bowl right here. And once I get all the steak in this bowl, I'm gonna just kind of tin it loosely with some aluminum foil. Now, in that same skillet that our steak was in, we're gonna add 2 more tablespoons of butter. We're gonna add 1 more tablespoon of garlic, and we're gonna saute that until it really breaks down and starts to become fragrant. Next thing we're gonna do, we're slowly gonna add 1.5 cups of heavy whipping cream. Slowly whisk that in. Now I'm gonna kick my heat back down to a low heat, and we're gonna let this simmer for 3 to 5 minutes, let it start to reduce. Next, I'm gonna add 2/3 cup of grated Parmesan, and we're just gonna slowly work this into our sauce here. And that Parmesan is gonna thicken it up a little bit. Next, I'm gonna add half a teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. Now we've got us 1 lemon, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take half of a lemon rather. I'm gonna squeeze the juice from half of a lemon into our garlic butter sauce here. Now if that's in there, we're just gonna, again, stir this in. All right, so let's check this potato real quick. This sucker's really hot, hence the gloves, but I kind of cut down the middle, and I'm gonna kind of pinch it out a little bit like that to really open the potato up. Come in with a fork, and I'm just kind of break the inside loose like this. And really, if you want, like I know a lot of people like to eat the skin on a baked potato. You know, if you want to do that, you can just mash this whole thing down to where it's one big old blob of potato, so to speak. But now that we got this broken up, I'm gonna come in with a hefty amount of butter here. I'm gonna scrape that butter down in there. I'm just gonna kind of toss that around, let that butter start to melt all over my potato. The thing I'm gonna do is take my little tongs here. I'm just gonna grab some of that steak and drop it down into the potato. Then I'm gonna take that sauce that we made. We're just gonna drizzle that all along the top here. And this right here, folks, is the loaded, or the steak-filled baked potato. So I've really been salivating over this one since Todd sent this to me. So we're gonna give it that all-important taste test. I got some potato, steak, and that sauce we made. So if we're going off with that number scale, 1 to 10, that's a 10. It's got two things I love the most: steak, potatoes, when it comes to food. And then you throw in that garlic butter sauce with that Parmesan cheese mix in there, the little bit of red pepper flakes, that little bit of lemon juice. Oh, folks, this right here, home run. 3 fist pumps, if you're keeping track. 10 out of 10. And like I said, this meal could have been made a whole lot sooner or quicker had we cooked the potatoes in the microwave. And the next time I do this, I will go that route, because even if you cook them 2 at a time, about 24 minutes is all that the potatoes would have taken. The steaks and the sauce didn't take very long, so this took about an hour, but because we're waiting on potatoes. So a meal that can be made so much quicker to enjoy any night of the week. So y'all please let me know what you think of the video. Y'all please like, subscribe, and I'm begging you, please try this one.